Bossman Show. Oklahoma Sooners head coach, former Atlanta Hawk head coach, Lon Kruger with me on the Bossman Show. Coach, good to talk to you again. How you guys doing out there in Norman?
Well, we're doing all right. It's a crazy time for everyone, of course, with the COVID stuff and the uncertainty game to game. But it's kind of become the norm, as you know, right up until you test the day before the game. You don't know if you're playing or not. Don't know about your opponent, but that's life in 2020 and 2021. And guys are handling it well, even though it's a little bit frustrating at times.
Now, Coach, yeah, like last week, you had a game scheduled last weekend, got postponed, had a big game last night in which you won. So like you said right there, you thought you had a game last week, postponed, play last night, win, of course, and now you're waiting on Kansas on Saturday if that goes down.
That's exactly right. The guys, right up until the practice the day before the game on the weekend, we thought we were going to play, and then all of a sudden that was canceled, and you adjust and move forward. But that's the key, I think, in this COVID year to adjust and adapt and make the best of whatever you got.
Now, Coach, you guys have played 12 games, winning 8 of them. Some teams only played 4, 5, 6 games this year. So how blessed are you and your staff and your team to be able to play 12 games, like you say, in this COVID year when games are postponed or up to the last second, day of, or you have to reschedule something really fast and make it work that way. So just talk about just how that been, knowing you've got 12 in so far in this weird year.
Yeah, that's the way it is. You have to appreciate every time you can get on the floor. You're disappointed when you can't, but every time you do get on the floor, you have to treat it as a blessing and play your heart out and realize that, hey, just like back in March, you never know when the whole thing can be pulled. So enjoy every opportunity to play and appreciate that.
You kind of read my mind, Coach. I want to go back to March. March 11th is my birthday. I was at the Hawks-Knicks game, and I got to worry that it was postponed. And for your team, conference tournament, going from that to going back home, getting everything's postponed. Then you don't see you guys for months. How is that for you and your seniors, who you're going to get to say goodbye to the right way, and your staff and your players to be away from that long, not knowing when you ever see them again, based on what we had going on this summer and spring?
Definitely a totally new experience. In college basketball, you're never away from your guys for, like you say, a 4-month period. And when they went home in March, we really didn't see them for the next 4 months. So totally a unique experience, unlike we've ever had, during our coaching career. And our guys, again, it was different for them. They couldn't be around teammates. They couldn't be back on campus in the summertime. All totally new and different. And guys, I think, tough experience for players all over the country. And yet we keep in mind that there are people out there, we can't play basketball for 4 months. We don't see our guys for 4 months. There's people out there that are losing family, losing friends. There's folks out there with bigger problems than not being able to play a basketball together for practice. So we totally get that as well.
Coach, you have a unique team. A lot of your guys from different backgrounds, international backgrounds. So when everything always had the social injustice going on in our country, how is it talking to your players who are international about what's going on over here in the U.S. and hearing stories from your white players as well about their backgrounds and experiences, bringing your team together closer? How was those conversations on Zoom? Because for me, Coach, talk to my friends who are not black. It was good to teach them about my experience coming from Vine City in Atlanta and growing up the way I grew up, to show them about my perspective. So how was it for your team, Gail, to talk about these issues as a team and in an open forum?
Well, it was healthy in a great way, because, like you say, we've got guys from outside the country. We've got blacks, we got whites, of course. It was really interesting to see the guys listening to each other and really learning from each other. As difficult a period as that was, hopefully the country has taken steps forward as a result of it. Over the last 60, 70 years, we've taken a step forward, step backwards. When you think about it, not nearly where we want or should be, based on what, given Dr. King's birthday a couple of days ago, not nearly where we should be, given what he started and the impact that he had, back in the 50s and 60s. So disappointed in that for sure. But every time something like this happens in our country, we've got to use it as an opportunity unfairly, of course, but still is an opportunity to move forward in a big way. And hopefully this past 6 to 8 months, we've done that. Still a long way to go.
And coach, my parents are 80 years old and 70. So they grew up here in Atlanta, right during the heart of all that stuff. And the knowledge they give me about how it was back in then their time when younger kids in Atlanta growing to now, like for me, coach, I know we've made a lot of progress from my parents who what they tell me, and I know we can do better. I'm in my 30s, so I know I'm gonna be a leader going forward. I decided to use my show, coach, for good and more. Use it for sports, of course, but use it more to help the community of Atlanta and beyond as well, coach, because I feel like, it's a time for a change. And if I've God give me this platform to be able to use as a vessel to help in that change and inspire others to do the same as well, coach. So I feel like you were so right, coach, with my parents who are 80 and 70 tell me stuff you're saying right now as well.
Yeah, no, and absolutely. Anyone in your position or anyone's position of leadership, must use their platform, to advance with regard to the social injustices and the lives that people live today.
Now, coach, how proud of you being of your guys in the NBA who you see them stepping up and making statements, who played for you and every one of your stops here? How happy seeing how those young men have grown into leaders and showing, like you said, using that platform now for good, like Trey and guys who played here at Florida as well?
Oh, absolutely great. Anytime you have players that can go on and do what Trey is doing or do what Buddy's doing or Blake Griffin, those guys from Oklahoma that are in the league right now, you're number one, you're happy for them. And number two, it's great from a fan base and proud alumni of Oklahoma, to see them represented that way.
Now, coach, for your guys, you got ready for your season. How did you ramp your young men up? Like I say, all 4 months, you don't want to have them get hurt. Every time they're young kids, they want to go hard. They want to get back at it. So how was trying to manage them, tamper them down so you don't have a nagging ankle and knee, so you guys can get your stride as you are right now, heading into March here down the road here going forward.
Part of that was taken care of by the protocols that were in place when the guys came back to campus. We were limited on how many hours we could be around them. We were limited on, how long we could be in the gym, wearing the mask, of course, all the time at that point. And so we kind of were able to work back into it in an appropriate pace. We didn't have to get ready for a game. We came back in July. So it wasn't like we had to get ready for a game in August or September. We had 5 months to kind of work back into it gradually and build on it. And like you say, hopefully avoid any injuries.
Now, coach, for your young men in class-wise, now, coach, I can't do virtual learning. So how's it been for your young men having to do virtual learning, being hybrid, not having those study halls like they're used to? How's your academic advisor and your assistant coaches helping out your young men for us, keeping them on track academically, knowing it's not what they're used to?
Absolutely. And as you know, just like you say, some people adapt to that more easily and quickly than others. Some need to be in class and need to be face to face to learn, in a way that benefits their learning. Other people can adapt to the virtual learning and be fine with it. But our academic folks, to your point, did a great job of adjusting individually, as we needed to help guys continue making that progress toward a degree.
Now, coach, also, how's recruiting via Zoom? I know you like to get in the gym, see a young man, meet his family in the home. So how's recruiting guys to come to that great campus in Norman via Zoom?
Well, this world's been changed by COVID, and we're doing things by Zoom that we didn't think we probably could have done by Zoom prior. We haven't seen a recruit since March face to face. Even the ones that that we've signed this last fall. One of them has never been on campus. And so it's a different recruiting world, and it's going to be different going forward into we're dead period, which means we can't be off campus or have kids on campus until April, and it'll probably be extended after that as we look at it today. So it'll be different going forward. It'll be different, but I think meetings that we always thought we had to be in person for have been conducted via Zoom, and I would imagine that'll continue much more in the future than we've ever done in the past.
Coach, I joke with my staff. I wish I had bought stock in Zoom before it blew up. I would have already retired by now.
Isn't that the truth? It's amazing. I don't know that we thought too much about Zoom prior to March, and now it's on everyone's landscape.
Yeah, Coach, I never thought of doing a radio show via Zoom or seeing the video, seeing you guys while I talk. So you rather have been on the phone. So for me, it's been great to see you guys and not have been on the
Yeah.
phone. So it's great for a radio show. I'm not so much trying to recruit a 5-star player.
No, that's very true. Well, and even today, we used to do a lot of conference calls, and now we really aren't doing any calls. We're doing everything via Zoom, and we could have done it via Zoom prior to March, but we didn't. I guess we were okay with the calls.
Now, let me ask you about this, Coach, in Zoom as well. A lot of clinics you guys had with different coaches over in Europe, internationally, China. How was those Zoom calls you had in clinics you all went to this summer? How fun was that for you to kind of interact with your colleagues without it being so tense, learning from each other?
Well, it's great. Again, that's those are replacing, and as a result of the pandemic, there's a lot more of them. But they're replacing the in-person clinics that we would have been attending or conducting since March. There haven't been any clinics that I know of in person, but there's been a ton of opportunities via Zoom to learn from one another.
Now, Coach, you got Kansas on Saturday. Tell us about Bill Self and his team, what you're looking for as you watch film and prepare for those guys this weekend.
Well, Kansas set the bar in the Big 12 conference for many years, and they're good once again. We've also got two teams in the league, Baylor and Texas, that are ranked ahead of Kansas. So that speaks to the quality of the Big 12, and Kansas certainly one of those top 5, top 10 teams in the country. And every time you prepare for a Kansas team, you've got to do things well. They'll challenge you on both ends of the floor, and our guys are making progress, and Saturday will be a really good test for us.
That's one for you, Coach. What was your quarantine hobby? Mine was playing the guitar, learning how to play the guitar better. What was your quarantine hobby?
Yeah, it certainly wasn't anything related to music. I have no ability with the guitar or the piano. My wife is a piano player, and she spent some time with that. But I'd probably like a lot of people just settle into a Netflix series here or there, and pick out something, a little bit more opportunity to read, even during that time, the golf courses became kind of an opportunity, to be out there and not near anyone. So got probably more golf in the summertime than normal, but the period that we don't want to go through again, that's for sure.
Coach Kruger, best of luck to you. I told you off there, man, you're one of my favorites. You're from Atlanta Hawk. So you one of my favorites always because you got that Atlanta connection to me. So I've always been a fan of yours, Coach. Thank you for your time as always. Let's look on Saturday against Kansas. Now I'll talk to you real soon, Coach. Be safe now.
Thanks, Bossman. Appreciate your time.
Anytime, Coach.
You bet.